Hello and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai. Welcome to yet another episode of our show, The Professional on Call Who Knows It All. And today we have a very esteemed guest with us, CA Sripriya Kumar of Tamil Nadu. Welcome to the show, ma'am. And we are so obliged and happy that at our one request you came onto our show. Much obliged. Thank you so much, ma'am. Many of you may know Shri Priya ma'am as the Smart CA, an initiative which she has taken up a lot of years back. We will discuss all this with her today, her personal life, professional life, her vision for the institute, for the profession, as well as a lot more things, what she has to tell up to the young professionals, to women professionals, and also we will be asking her about the Smart CA initiative. So let's begin. Ma'am has been in practice since 1996 and she has been serving the institute and the profession for 3 terms, one term in the capacity at regional level and for 2 terms at the central council level. And right now also she is a sitting member at central council level. So that's a lot of years of service to the institute, ma'am, and we will be talking a lot more on this. But first, let me ask you, if you have to trace your personal and professional journey till now, how would that be? We really want to know.
So, thank you so much, Pratiksha, for having invited me to your show today. And more than anything else, I am super proud of knowing you. I've seen your videos on the social media,
Thank you so
and it's
much.
brilliant to connect. And I think you provide the much needed visibility that this profession, wants. And when we see a Pratiksha Pai on social media, we don't just see a Pratiksha, we see a chartered accountant. And in all the good and the respectable work that you do, I'm sure more than all the efforts of the council, ICI, etc., it's these individual cogs in a wheel that actually make the wheel a lot more prominent. So in that sense, it's completely my privilege, my prestige, and my honor to be here today.
Thank you so
So
much.
uh, coming to the professional and stroke personal journey, well, I was born in 1973, so I'm 51 years old, and I went to school at a school that's called the DAV in Chennai, DAV High Secondary School. I went to Etiraj College, did my BCom, and then I proceeded to do CA. I did my articles from 93, 96 with PW Chennai, and then worked with Ford and back with PW for a couple of years before I launched practice in 2001, a very memorable year, starting out as a sole proprietor. And now we run a very happy practice, and I'm very proud to say that I'm not the major or the dominant partner. I run a very happy practice of very contented, very driven, and very happy individuals. So that's my personal stroke professional journey. And I am married again to a chartered accountant who's got nothing to do with practice. He was a career banker and out on his own now in a fintech company that he started. I have 2 children, one of whom happens to be a chartered accountant, and the other who didn't want to be a chartered accountant, and she chose to do electronic media, and she's very creative. So that's about my personal and professional journey. And in all of this, my parents have been huge support. My father, who's no more, and my mother, who's there all the time. So that's about it.
Amazing, ma'am. And it's also amazing that your out of your 2 kids, one is a CA, and I think the another one is the one who balances the family by not being a CA. So amazing. So, ma'am, if we ask you, what would be one landmark moment in your life that you will always cherish?
Okay, so I can't say one landmark moment, so you must give me the flexibility of telling you.
Definitely.
The one, of course, was finding my soulmate, who's literally the wind beneath my wings, because Sudarshan is like huge support in whatever I do. So I guess that qualifies to be a landmark. The two other big landmarks are my kids, who keep me on my toes all the time, and I'm constantly advised and told what to do, what not to do, what to wear, what not to wear, where to travel, etc. So it's been good fun.
Absolutely.
Parenting or not so much parenting, actually. When I look back, they've just grown so old now. And but in terms of course, the council itself is a landmark kind of event. But most importantly, I was in the NCC when I was in college.
Oh,
I was the best cadet of Tamil Nadu, and I represented the state in the All
wow.
India Republic Day parade. I was also the second best cadet that year in 1992. I think that 1 month that you spend in the Delhi biting cold, in a camp kind of environment, changes your life completely. You
Abs-
learn how to work with people, how to interact, how to adjust, and imagine it's 100 kids on a third class compartment traveling to Delhi, a place that you've never seen before.
Yes.
I think that was a life changing moment. And after that, I got sponsored on an exchange program to go to the United Kingdom by the Ministry of
Oh,
Defense.
wow.
So when I came back, I wanted to join the army, but then my mother said, "We can't find a boy, so you have to do something else." And then the second choice was CA, and here I am today. So,
You
yeah,
knew the right field where you will find another chartered accountant, right?
yeah. Everything happens for the good, so it's nice
Yes,
to take life
yes.
as it comes in. And I think there's a hand of God in everything you do or you don't
Absolutely.
do, and
Absolutely.
you take it
And
positive.
you also very rightly mentioned that your spouse has been your one of your biggest support. So it wouldn't be wrong to say that behind the success of this woman, there is a man.
There are many men actually.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes.
and I also think it's everybody. I mean, my mentors,
Absolutely.
especially in the profession, I can count at least 100 of them, and I mean, people whom I can call, I can laugh to, I can cry to, and all of us go through
I
those
know.
moments. But people have always guided me on the right path, and I think I owe it to not just one man, but to all the men who make up my life, both the
Absolutely.
profession and
Every person we meet in life teaches us so much. There's
yes,
so much to learn from everyone, right?
absolutely, absolutely,
And it
and
is
very well said.
so graceful of you to accept that and to tell that yes, there are many people behind your success. That's so graceful of you to tell.
In fact, I would go one step and say that I think a bulk of my success is attributed to the people around me than myself. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And so, yeah,
Wow,
things happen.
very nice, ma'am. Well said, actually. Also, ma'am, coming now to a little bit of the professional side of things, you have been serving the institute for around 10 years now, we can say. And you have seen the institute at many levels, regional level, central level. You would have seen the opportunities and challenges at these levels, and you would have had also a lot to work upon. So you know exactly what can be done better and what needs a lot of work to be done better. So, what is your vision for ICAI for 2049? That is 100 years of ICAI. What would be your vision for ICAI in the future?
Very nice you asked, Pratiksha, because I think ICA is also in the process of defining our vision document for 2049, and I'm part of that team. I think the first thing I'd like to see is an institution of exemplary governance. So we are a 1,000 crore company with at least 3,500 crores of assets at cost. So how we run our processes, that's very important for the world to see us and to take an example. The second is, I think, as a regulatory organization, that's of course very internal and everything is happening, is how do you build public trust? How
Yeah,
do you stay at the forefront of public trust? How do you do the right things? What's the kind of tone you set for the growth of the economy and the world? I
yeah,
think that's very important. The third important vision for ICI is how do we upskill members? See, I passed out in 96 and I keep telling people it's completely I'm thankful I finished my CA at that time because I had to study only some 15 accounting standards. And now when I see the kids coming in and studying, there's just accounting standards, Ind AS, standards on auditing,
yes,
GST, the transfer pricing, there's just so much. And if you fast forward it to the profession itself, whether you're in practice or in industry or you're an entrepreneur, I think upskilling is becoming extremely important today. How do we continue to train our members in what's, kind of relevant and contemporary would be one of the biggest challenges of the institute. And today I like to believe that this is actually a seeing and a hearing generation
Yeah,
rather than a studying generation. So the
absolutely.
capability of the institute to disseminate information in very smart, very sharp, very interesting, very visually appealing modes would become very, very important. And of course, the student is a much larger story. In fact, our president has said he'd like to see 30 lakh chartered accountants by 2049.
And I think
And
that
I
is
think,
necessity.
yeah, absolutely. I think the per capita CAs are very low in the country. In a country of
Absolutely.
140 crore people, we have only 4.5 lakh chartered accountants. And
Yes.
the economy could just do with a lot more professional support and guidance. And as far as the students are concerned, I personally have always believed in one thing. We need to ensure that we are able to deliver a common standard of articleship training. See,
Yes.
today there's a kid studying in Chennai, there's a kid studying in Tirupur, in Coimbatore, Salem, Erode, Vellore, Mangalore, where you're from.
Yes.
How do I enable a lab environment? So whether a student is doing under a principal who is or not doing many things. So, for example, as a firm, we don't do much statutory audits, but I'd like to give them some exposure to my student on a statutory audit. How do we foster lab-based learning where anybody who comes out of the system will know a similar set of things? I think that will be a great challenge for the institute. And how do we deploy our funds itself? We are a very significantly large institution and a systemically important institution. How do we channelize for the benefit of our members will be something on which we need to introspect and more importantly deliver. And
Correct.
in this context, I think what's also very important is, can we come up with a large office management software like a Red Bus? The Red Bus where
Right.
you do your bookings,
Right.
where every member and his student has logged into the portal every morning, and then the whole transaction happens seamlessly, whether it's doing audit or, I mean, I visualize something where on the right side there'd be a ticker of all yesterday's circulars flowing down. So if I'm interested in GST, I open it and read it. I think it's very much doable. It needs
Amazing.
will and
Yes.
concerted effort. So broadly coming back, it's an institution of exemplary governance, building utmost trust in the stakeholders that we service, upskilling members, and enabling a very vibrant student population will be the key aspects that I might want to kind of consider.
One thing which you told really struck me, which is the lab-based learning and the similarity in the learning platform for students. I think when students will come out with this similar based learning, it will be more easier for them to collaborate as professionals as well in the future. And we can also then look at our Prime Minister's goal of the Big Ten Indian multinational firms. So that is a very that could be one of the first steps in achieving that goal as well, right?
Absolutely, Pratiksha. And just to add here, what's a matter of concern is that not many chartered accountants are coming to practice. Today, we've moved to from 4.5 lakhs chartered accountants. We have only about 1,60,000 in practice. And that's something that concerns
Concern.
us.
Yes.
Practice is the pride of this profession. So, we must ensure that any point in time, practice should be a very strong and a viable option.
Absolutely. Now that you said this, ma'am, I would like to also ask you what, in your perspective, are top three things that the institute and the profession should be concerned about?
I think the first thing that we should be concerned about is not many people coming into practice, which I think is very important. It's important to address the core issues on why people aren't coming. A very close cousin would be the fact that the audit fee and remuneration in India is possibly very undercharged.
Right.
There have been NAFRA papers on it. It's a very good consultation paper that they had come up with. I personally had a look at 1,500 companies which come under the CAG ambit. I've seen the audit fee levels, and I think they need improvement.
Absolutely.
I think the fee challenge is something that we need to encounter, and even if you compare the audit fee of a Mitsubishi and a Maruti, right at that level there is a gap. And
Yes.
I think this gap actually, the C&AG and the government work also, there is a gap, and the gap just keeps downstreaming this is something that, even at a personal level, I've been sort of very vocal in all the forums that I speak, saying we just need to value ourselves more.
Yes.
And, if it's, good, fast, it can't be cheap, right? I mean, it has to be
Correct.
appropriately priced.
Yes.
The second thing that I think is a fairly large concern for the profession would be aggregation. See,
Mhm.
today, as the statistics go, we have 160,000 chartered accountants in practice. We have 96,000 firms. That's an average of about 1.7 to 1.8 partners per firm.
Oh.
And within that 96, 66,000 are sole proprietors. And
Oh.
within a 6 month period in which I ran the data twice, we got a new entrant of about 4,000 sole proprietors who would come in about 4 months' time. I think, and today you look on the other side, you look at all the kits that the institute is coming up with. You have a 300-page audit checklist. I mean, it'll be very difficult for a proprietary firm to do it. So I think the second challenge is to start aggregation. And
Yes.
aggregation is just people working together, collaborating for
Ye-
more work, etc., which will eventually lead to mergers and partnerships.
True.
And these are nothing to be scared about. I mean, it's basically a mindset change. Do I want a small pie fully for myself, or a small share in a very large pie?
Right.
The advantage of the second is that, you get to do your other things that you value in life. For example, today, if I wasn't in a partnership, I wouldn't be able to spend so much time on what is my calling, which is with the institute.
Correct.
So the second important aspect that's relevant for the institute will be aggregation. I think, and the third, of course, is audit quality. We have a parallel regulator. How do we actually scale up and become?
Yes.
How do we help audit quality? One thing is to say I will do inspection, policing. No, I think I come from a slightly different view. I think the institute has to support members on audit quality.
Correct.
And what I'm talking about is if I can give software. So, for example, today we know if you go to SAP, an organization implements SAP, then what happens? I have to do a purchase order. I have to take a GRN, and only then I can make a payment.
Right.
So you have a tool that actually drives. So here I think it'll be very nice if we can come up with audit tools that are comprehensive. Today, lots of us make tools and multiple committees publish tools, but something that's in a neat, nice workflow. And
Absolutely.
more importantly, again, this is a very personal view. I feel our standards could be a lot simpler. Applying the same set of standards for somebody very small to somebody very large, you end up spending a lot more time on documentation than on audit, and your
Right.
records are up. So I think these are the top three things that I think are very important. And the other big element is members in industry. So once a member goes to industry, I think the institute can do a lot more to support. In fact, we had come up with a committee this year. It's called the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee. So
Okay.
we said very few people, even in corporates, other than the large corporates, they don't go through a formal training process. So we said, how can the institute do this? So we made this committee, which does nothing technical, but largely focusing on soft skills. And I must tell you, our webinars have been a rocking hit with 1,500 in attendance
Oh,
on all
wow.
Saturdays.
Amazing. Amazing.
So these are some of the big concerns that I think I might want to address.
And I really liked one of the points which you said, that making tools for the chartered accountants to utilize. And I would just like to add one thing, that yes, in these tools, like, these tools can be made at the, head office level in conjunction with the government also, so that all the chartered accountants have to use the same tool. Because I think one of the largest challenges we face is, when we get a new client, getting their data becomes very difficult from the previous auditor or whoever it is. But if all clients' data, all auditors post it on a single tool, and then the change is also seamless, and it's a healthy competition again. So that
Yeah,
again is,
in fact, some of it, for example, we can integrate directly with the GST filing portals, income tax
yes,
filing portals. See, the thing is, it's a mind map. You have to start somewhere and then see how you can integrate with the overall systems to make a CA's life also simpler.
Yes,
But all this, of course, and in all this, the model has to be very bespoke. It's not that you come with a software and say use it. I think we'll need to do roadshows. We'll need to go meet chartered accountants. We'll need to set up a core group of 300 to 500 people. We'll
yes,
need to understand what they want in customizing a software rather than, pick something and say, okay. I mean, in fact, what's very nice is there are many chartered accountants today who built audit softwares. And
yes,
in a
yes.
small way, I try to introduce them to others. We can pick some of these tools and see how to, kind of expand over it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So now that we've spoken about top three things that are concerning, let us come to the positive side of it also. And what, in your opinion, are the top three things that the institute and the profession should be happy about, should be excited about?
Okay. So I think I am extremely upbeat about the future of the CA profession. No, a lot of people say artificial intelligence, digitization. I think nothing can replace human intuition.
Yes,
So, and I think this
absolutely.
entire course trains you to be very intuitive and very skeptical, and which is very good. So, I think what's exciting is the fact that India is marching to be a $5 trillion economy. A lot of vibrancy that we are seeing today. So, I think that's the first reason to be excited. You're going to be part of a growth story where actually the country and the universe is conspiring to make things better for us. That's something I would be very excited about. The second thing I would be excited about is the fact that it's become a flat world. See, way back in 2001, when I started practice and I got a few of these Section 195 certificates, I would call up a friend of mine who was in a large firm, and he was very happy to help anyway. So he would tell me this DTA, this page, because I didn't even have a copy of the DTA, the books, and all that, because they would also keep changing. But today, I think with the internet happening and so many tools available, it's an absolutely flat world.
Yes,
Knowledge and access to resources is phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it's created a level playing field, at least from the knowledge segment part. So
yes,
I think, and today you cap it with additional aspects of digitization and AI, which is your chat GPT on steroids that we're all talking about today. I think that's the second thing for the profession. I think it's nice that we are, and we must be one of those totally privileged generations. I've seen a floppy drive, I've seen a pen drive, I've
yes,
seen the computer doing everything, and here I am talking to Pratiksha Pai in a virtual interview while we're separated by hundreds of miles. I
yes,
think that's the second thing. And the third thing I'm very happy about is the fact that the scope of services is expanding, and it's not expanding annually. I think it's expanding daily.
daily, absolutely, absolutely.
When I started practice way back, there were only sales tax audits, income tax audits, statutory audits, a little bit of internal audits. But today, if you look at just what a professional services firm can render,
Yes, absolutely.
you can do audit, you can do risk, you can do taxation, and within the
Valuation.
organization, you have so much and more laws. So, in fact, I keep telling this very funnily about the lawyers. More laws means more problems, means more opportunities. But for the CF fraternity, we always think every risk is a problem. It's actually an opportunity.
Yes.
The latest that I see hitting this bandwagon is ESG. And I'm particularly passionate about taking ESG reporting to the small and medium practitioners because I think there's a huge opportunity and it's not complicated. It's a lot easier than understanding Ind AS. So
Yes.
I think that's the second thing to be excited about this profession. I think these are the two things. One is you're at the right place with a growing economy. Two is access to tools and resources, which is unlimited. You can go do whatever you want. And the third is emergence of newer services. And the fourth is, I think today, finally, you have an opportunity to create products and not services.
Yes.
Services are a bit dicey because then if I stop working, I'm done. But in a productized environment, if whatever I'm able to do, that's what I keep telling people. If you've decided to do statutory audits, please do 100 or whatever is your maximum limit in your firm that allows. If you're doing tax, do it for 5,000 individuals. Don't do 150, nothing.
Yes.
Whatever you do, you take it and scale it up. And today, access to technology is so cheap. You get developers who can develop products for you for a couple of lakhs that you can deploy. So yeah.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that we chartered accountants are such an integral part of our nation's journey to becoming the $5 trillion economy. I think chartered accountants have never been at a better place of value in the society than this, right? So, having said this, chartered accountants, we are placed at such a high value, and among the 4.5 lakh odd chartered accountants that you mentioned, there is a good share of women professionals as well in that huge pie. And wherever the profession has reached today, the women have had also an equal role in getting the profession and the institute to where it is today. So you are also in one of the leadership roles. I mean, you are in the council, central council, but in the 75 years of institute, you may be, if I'm not wrong, the fourth lady in the central council. So why is there a hesitation when women coming forward to leadership roles? Why is that a male dominated category? If you have to throw some light on that, ma'am.
I think possibly a lack of example. In my own case, when I got in, there was only one other person who was there in SIRC, or maybe two. But after I came in, I saw a lot more women coming in. Today, we have three women in SIRC, we have three in the Central Council, and right across the regional councils, etc. See, I think elections are always a bit of a challenge. It's a little bit more effort, and I think sometimes I think one is very scared to lose.
Yes, yes.
So possibly that, but I think it's something that we're going to beat very, very shortly, and we're looking for more smart women like Pratiksha Pai coming. So I'd be very, very happy to support anyone who wants to give it a shot. And I think right now, even in the branches, I can see a lot more women happening. We've had all women branches.
Oh,
There's one
wow.
branch, Salem, a particular year. All five office bearers were women that year. It was very nice. But again, I also believe that it's not just, you must believe that you want to do it, then you can do it. So it's rarely made a difference. And I think from a voter perspective, they don't really distinguish.
No
If you've
ways.
made it, I think it's possibly on what you meant to that role and whether people see you in that role. So in that context, I must say that the entire fraternity, the voting fraternity, has been very supportive. And
Ye-
right across, I mean, even in my council, I'm never made to feel different or anything. I've had a fairly nice run. So
So
yeah. So
somewhere I feel the women hesitate to grow beyond a comfort zone, right? That could be. Maybe,
no, 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 no. It's
as you
very
said,
true.
as you
The
said,
biggest,
uh-huh.
yeah, very true. Please continue.
As you said, maybe women need more role models and examples. Now, when they see you, they may feel that, yes, we can do this.
No, absolutely, Pratiksha. But I'll tell you, in that sense, what distinguishes, maybe if at all I have a very, woman perspective to this, it's only one thing. Uh, we tend to create a lot of pressure for ourselves. In fact, today, if you ask me, my biggest challenge every day is I keep asking, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? You're wondering, okay, there's an exam, should I do this or should I go to office today? Your household help has not come today, so should I, maybe the men tend to face that a little lesser. I read a very nice, very long back, somebody told me this. They said, Priya, it's very simple, all that you're going through. Of course, I have seniors who advised me on this. They said, see, genetically, there's a coding. Women are the nourishers and men are the providers. So it takes a bit of time for you to get over it. And you'll never perhaps get over it. But
Yes.
much later, I read a very nice Harvard article. In fact, this book was given to me by the Salem branch. It's
Oh,
about women in leadership and the top 10 Harvard Business Review articles. They described it very beautifully. Apparently, women have qualities that are considered communal, which is, kindness, being affectionate, going out of the way and trying to make things happen. And men come with a set of qualities which are agentic, which is, to lead, to be slightly, wanting to be in the forefront. Now, of course, with time, technology, and role models, everything is changing. I mean, I
A lot
see
of
as many women.
stabilization has happened.
Absolutely. And I think kudos to the men of this generation. I
Yes.
mean, I have seen my best friends being exemplary cooks, exemplary caregivers to the children, etc. And I think a lot more is happening in this space. And I think I see a great time for women and women leadership as well.
Amazing. Now, when we come to the women leadership, the next what the natural flow of thought is in the profession also we have men and women. And what do you think is the difference in the perception, especially when it comes to the work-life balance between male professionals and female professionals?
Yeah, that's what I told you earlier. No, you always have this constant overhang of what's happening at home.
Yes.
So you tend to, take that. In my personal view, it's been pretty okay because you'll slowly learn to adjust
Right.
and sort of cope with it. And another interesting thing I found is, I'm sure it's the same thing with you, Pratiksha. The moment the people in your family see you taking, for example, this interview very important, your social media presence very important, your career very important, everybody kind of comes together to support it.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the start point. The start point is to say that, look, I'm not going to neglect other things, but I would also like to do this. Many of us even fail to express that need to our spouses or our fathers or our brothers. It's okay. It's okay to want something. No? I mean, it's really okay. I mean, it's okay for a young lady in practice to say, okay, I've done a 12 lakh turnover. I want to do 20 lakhs next year. And that
Yes,
20 lakhs is
absolutely.
not because of the money. It could be important to some, but just to say, look, I want to grow.
Yes, the ambition should be there.
Yeah, and I think it's and again in this growth phase you'll have other impediments, but it's fine. And you don't have to climb like a hockey stick. You can have a very gradual phase of growth. Decide what you want to do, decide what you don't want to do, and it'll work for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when it comes to this, what is your advice to the women out there, the women professionals out there?
Okay, so I must tell you an amazing story here. So we do these convocation events, right, for newly qualified CAs. So we had one such convocation event in July 2024. And we were convocating in Chennai for Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And for the first time, and I think it's in the history of ICI, we had more than 50% convocatees being women,
Oh,
which
wow.
I think was a very historic moment for this profession. And in all this, I kept telling people, look, the entire credit must go to the men. It must go to the fathers, the brothers, the sons, the spouses, the fiancés who made this possible. And I think this is a proud moment, not for the women, it's for
Absolutely.
the men. And when the rest of the country and the world is struggling on diversity, here's
Yes,
a profession that sort of just made it strong and silent and to emphasize the fact that it's merit and merit alone that matters. Now,
yes,
having said that, my advice to the women is two very simple things. One, I think you should learn to synthesize rather than compromise. It's
absolutely.
not easy. It takes a toll on your personal time and things like that to pick what you want to do. So now, I describe this as multiple states of parenting. So you can be a normal parent, which is, what I am, which is to bank on my mother whenever I needed to, or in fact, more than I needed to also, build that support system. The second thing is to say I want to be a super parent, which is to say I will do classes every day with my son at or my daughter at 4 o'clock. It's very difficult. Two classes a week is fine. And the third is to be a hyper parent to say I will not only do classes for my kids, I will also take all the neighbors' kids and go to the class. Uh, but ultimately do what makes you happy. If that state of parenting makes you happy, please do it.
Yes,
So that's something. But if you want to do something professional, it's nice to define something and say, okay, this box. You don't have to make this great lunch box. And through my 12 years of my kids' schooling, we did curd rice with one curry in the morning. So we said it's
amazing.
okay.
Yes,
I grew up on curd rice, so others also. It's fine. I mean, I think it's to set very reasonable expectations that works. And I think the second thing is to, of course, what I said to synthesize. You should be able to do this and that
correct.
rather than saying I'll do this or that. And the third thing is to take each day as it comes, one day at a time.
Right.
Just one day at a time. It
Absolutely.
works beautifully. You say, today I will do this much. Of course, next week I have to finish some clients, but say, okay, 29th I will do this, 30th I will do this.
Yes.
So I think it's nice. That's about
I
it.
think some amount of planning here and there will make it all work out, right?
Yeah,
Yes. And I think a little bit every day will add up. And that's I love that you told that take a day as it comes, because and take one day at a time, because I did the same thing for my channel as well. Every day just 1 minute video I used to put, and now I have 1,40,000 followers on Instagram. So so that's something that worked for me as well, taking just one day at a time.
very,
So
very, very impressive, Pratiksha. I didn't know you had 140,000 followers. That's
yes, that's on
absolutely.
Instagram.
We hope you make it on the PM's list someday. So,
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you so much. That will
why not?
always be a goal. And as you said, even I bank on my parents to take care of my baby. She's just 3.5. So, when you said that, I could relate to you in so many levels.
Absolutely. And it's not easy, huh? I mean, what you do is a lot more difficult than what I do because today you also have to think on what is that thing creative that will fly. So it's not easy at all.
I
Yeah.
think I had some strength as a student. I used to be in the debates and elocution competitions. I used to come to Chennai and all that. Somewhere I'm banking on that. Went to the Mumbai level also once and won there as well. So somewhere banking on that. And finance, of course, is our niche. So
You're incredibly eloquent.
thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
really
so much.
impressed.
Thank you. Having said this, when I told about, I also had found my strengths when I was a student, and when I came into the profession as a young professional, I chose to delve on my strengths. And there are so many young CAs being, graduating every attempt, and many of them, fortunately, are coming into practice. So, what would be your advice to the young professionals out there?
So, whether you're in industry or practice or entrepreneurship, I think two things here. It's a very nice line. I think it's by somebody called Jack Kerouac. It's a book that's called On the Road. It's my generation's book. So it says, I saw or something close to this. It says, I saw my life as an open, empty, glowing page, and I could fill it up with whatever I wanted. So the CA degree is a great hedge. Go and find the world and find your feet. You
Yes,
want to be an actor, do it. You want to be a model, do it. You want to be a home baker, do it. Want to set up a cloud kitchen, do it. This course gives you that flexibility to go write the IAS exams, become an IAS officer, get into active politics, do anything you want because you have a great degree to fall back on. The second thing I'd like to emphasize is this lifelong learning. Today, you're in a millennium where knowledge is not power, but knowledge is life. So you need to send that 10, 20 minutes every day in addition to your Insta views and your Facebook to also spend a little time on something that you connect to professionally. And
yes.
today there's huge amount of resources that are available. So, before you go to sleep, read something. So that works.
So, ma'am, at the end of this conversation, we just cannot let you go without a very, very important question. I think I think few years ago, like maybe 2019, 2018, if I'm not wrong, when I was newly into practice, I and my husband, we were just two young chartered accountants trying to figure it out. And one of the things that used to help us, because somewhere in 2017, 2018, all this, there were not so many resources and content. Something that used to help us was your notes that you used to share as smart CA. And we both used to sit and read, because that time we didn't have too much work also. We were just into practice. And at that point in time, from that point in time itself, you have become well known in the region as CA Sripriya Kumar of Smart CA. So we want to know how you began this, what is the journey of this, and where is it today, and what is the aim basically with which you started this initiative, and how you want to take it forward.
Sure. So I started this way back in 2011.
Oh,
So when I happened to meet a couple of CAs and I saw other work and things like that, I said, okay, there's something that I possibly am doing better, which I think I should share. So I used to make these little kits on, how to make a profile, how to write an engagement letter, things that I had possibly learned when I worked with Ford or with PW. So I said, okay, let me start sharing. And soon that became an addiction. So I started reading so that I could write something. So, and when I did the first bank audit, and I must credit my seniors as well. So I said, let me write something for this bank audit because I just didn't know how to do it. So that's how it started. So I made out a comprehensive work paper manual for a bank audit.
wow.
And then a whole lot of things, statutory audits, tax audits. I'm not too much of a tax or a GST person, but I took a very conscious call and said, whatever I write for my firm, I will share it out. So now I'd done a set of engagement letter for my firm. So I said, okay, share it. And so sort of, I never expected. So this was by invitation. So I said, do you want to add yourself? Then please add yourself in this Google
Yes,
form.
yes.
So people would add them and then I would put them into Google groups. So today I mail to about 25,000 mail IDs every week, and I don't know, and many of them are chartered accountants, students, but a lot of them are CAs because I get responses. And then sometime in the beginning of this year, I said I had written a lot of content over a period of time, so I made a small portal. It's called the smartcaelearning.in. So you just have to register. And then whatever I have done over a period, I'm still uploading the videos and things like that. So I kind of put it there. And I try and do what's contemporary. So, for example, how did I use ChatGPT to do qualifications in audit reports? How did I use ChatGPT to make a PPT? Things that I think are time savers and are very relevant. So, I've also done a very comprehensive audit kit.
Wow.
So, this is basically intended purely as a small and medium practitioner scale up initiative because that's the way I started out and that's the way I am today. So, it's just to bridge that gap. And then, people generally like to see something. So, I said, okay, fine. And it's also possibly a kind of a gratitude for where I am today. Both personally, I'm saying, see, and today, what is the big deal? Your client is going to stay with you, my client is going to stay with me. Just because I share a nice engagement letter or a proposal template, that's not,
Yes.
nothing really happens. And that's that story of that American corn farmer. So the better corn you sow in your field, the other, corn also grows better. It's the same thing. But in all this, I must admit that I have been the biggest gainer. I have learned, I've stayed contemporary, so I'm able to contribute in the boards that I sit on. It's been a nice journey.
Absolutely. And I should say it's been so, popular because I feel it's so easy to understand. It's well put out. And especially for young chartered accountants in practice, it's so easy to get answers through your Smart CA initiative. So thank you for that actually, because it's helped me and my husband as well. So thanks a lot, Pam. And Pam, this has been a really nice conversation with you, and so much to learn from you, so much to understand from you, and your clarity of thoughts. It's been amazing. So, thank you once again for being with us on this show, ma'am. Thank you so much.
My pleasure and wish you the very, very, very best, Pratiksha, and a big hats off to your amazing spouse, Sanket Nayak, as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, dear viewers, if you felt that this video was useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for being with us. We will come up with other videos as well. Very interesting. Thank you and goodbye.